They are natives. Plus, in addition to that, we had blacks in this country as Folsom people way before American Indians ever came to this country, were ever formed, and came out of Asia across the Bering Straits. And so the Indians trying to get ahead of blacks by saying, we are natives. You're not any natives either. You came across the Bering Straits after blacks. That everybody on the earth came to the earth and followed black folk. The only natives you got on the earth are black people.
Where's the white guy who thinks he's a Native American? Listen, you dummy, you're a Siberian squatter who crossed the land bridge when the frost was low. The real Native Americans are black people. You're a $5 Indian. You paid $5 to steal a name. You're a fake, you hockey puck. They got black Americans wearing dashikis now. You look like a Chinese export. Those things are made in Wuhan. You're not from Africa. You've never even been there. You're indigenous to America. Your grandma...
It is an insult. We're the Native Americans here.
Instead of being called African American, what would you prefer?
Native American. Because we are the natives here. And they've gotten us to believe that we're from somewhere else.
How about the Indians, the native Indian? Do you regard them as natives too, or you're more native than them?
We're more native than them.
Interesting.
If you were to walk into any mosque in America and you just laid your hands on the first person or the third person or the fifth person that you see, you realize that you're laying your hands on a Native American? I believe there were only 8% of the slaves that came to America. So how is it that there are so many more people that they claim are black or African American? I think they got the numbers wrong, because a lot of Native Americans are the ones that they're counting as black folks too.
Well, we're really one.
Yeah.
We're not going to let them count this is Native American, this is black. Hell no. We are the original people of the earth.
African Americans are going through an identity crisis right now, and there's a lot of misinformation on the internet about who we truly are. Let's talk about it, shall we? My name is Brother Legend, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. In all my years in the black community, I have never been to a cookout where somebody was making a teepee in a campfire. And yet, for some reason, in the past 4 years, I have seen more and more black people in America say that they are native indigenous or aboriginal to America. And they use two justifications for this. One is that black people were here before Columbus, which really makes no sense to me, because even when they get their DNA results back, it'll say you have a little bit of Native American in them, but I have not seen one person black as me or blacker show their DNA results, and it says that they are 100% Native American. I mean, the whole reason you're saying you're not African is because you're saying that you didn't come here through the transatlantic slave trade. So then why do you have African DNA? The second thing that doesn't make sense to me that I hear pretty often is when they say that you've never seen a slave ship, slave ships don't exist. And my question to that is, how do you think white people got here? Can anyone find the Mayflower or the Santa Maria? Like, how far are we willing to go into denying our own history just to avoid acknowledging our painful past? Are we going to deny other people's history too? Oh, but they don't want us to know who we truly are. That's why they keep it hidden. Then why is it that every pretendian is alive and well, but the scholars that taught us we were African are the ones that got unalive or silenced by the U.S. government?
This black woman tells us who the real Native Americans actually were.
I'm here to tell you, Black America Today, all of that is a lie. We never came from nowhere. We were already here, right here on this land, okay? Everybody else came from everywhere else to America. The same way in 2026, you got foreigners fighting to come to America. That's the exact same way in 1776 and even beyond that, the foreigners were fighting to come to America. They'll teach you this in school, but they teach it to you in a way to where you don't understand what's happening.
And she understands what's happening.
Yeah.
So she's going to tell us now.
Yeah, so she basically says that black people were here before Native Americans, which is interesting. I haven't really thought of that.
Yeah, me neither. Never once crossed my mind at all.
And we have to update our We Wazzery bingo cards, because we know that we was the real pyramid builders. We was the real Jews. We was the real Vikings. We was Babe Ruth. We was Abe Lincoln. And now we was Native Americans and shit. So add that to the bingo card.
Black Americans originated from Africa, right? I thought so. So I've been posting a lot of videos about the experiences of Black Americans in U.S. history. And I've been getting a lot, like, the reason I'm making this video is because I've been getting a lot of comments that are saying, no, actually, Black people are indigenous to the United States, that they were here in this land before Europeans came. What? So I naturally did what one does. I asked chat, and chat says, if you don't have these yet, you're going to need them. Chat says, analyzing the statement, Black people here are indigenous. What's accurate? Some Black Floridians have indigenous ancestry, particularly through Black Seminole or Maroon connections. They may identify as Afro-Indigenous, and some of their communities are reclaiming that identity. Maybe that's where some of the comments are coming from. What's inaccurate? Claiming that Black Americans here are indigenous as a general statement ignores the central origin of Black Americans descended primarily from Africans brought via the transatlantic slave trade. Okay. And it added a section here because chat knows me so well by now. How to navigate the conversation respectfully. Chat, you know what I need. It says, acknowledge the real and deep Afro-Indigenous heritage in Florida, especially among Black Seminole descendants. Clarify that while this heritage is meaningful, most Black Floridians trace lineage to Africa and the slave trade. And then it says, of course, consult peer-reviewed articles, local archives, and books that provide nuanced histories. So there you go. If you're someone that knows about this, like in a credible way from primary sources or other really good information, I'd love to know. Just absorbing the horrifying history of slavery and its legacy to this day as a white man, this is an interesting part of this history that I didn't know, and I'm just really interested in. So feel free to share any thoughts that you have.
The black-skinned people here, those who are ancestral here, that were thousands of years have been here, or young people, or women who don't want to see their children die of any color of their skin.
Did you know one of the biggest clues about who the so-called African Americans really are is all in the language? Let me explain. When Europeans first arrived in places like Virginia, the Carolinas, and Georgia, they noticed something they couldn't explain, and something they later tried to hide. The dark-skinned people they wanted to label as Negro, mulatto, or colored, they already spoke native languages fluently. Algonquian, Powhatan, Arawak, even regional trade dialects. So tell me, how does someone fresh off a ship suddenly speak the exact indigenous tongue of the land that they supposedly just arrived in? They don't. That doesn't make sense. Because these were not outsiders. They were the original people of the land, American Indians. Colonial governors actually complained that many of the people they tried to classify as Negro,
Black people are Native Americans. This African American bullshit. Let me introduce you to the term fundamental Black America. Okay, so back in the 16 and 1700s, we had our first, reclassification. This is when those fucking dweeboids came from Borican, because colonization did not start on Turtle Island. Colonization started on the Isla de Borican, which is now called Puerto Rico. That roughly translates to rich door, rich port. This is just what the whites started calling it because they were exporting and pimping the island. They were also experimenting on the women and the men. That was like till now. They are experimenting on Puerto Ricanas until the day. So 1600s, 1700s come around. They come to Turtle Island. They see dark-skinned people. They call them the hard R, amongst other things. But then they put them on paper as natives. The term ruddy comes up. And this is how they were describing their skin, because there were red undertones and they were dark. And they were able to absorb the sun without burning to a fucking crisp. So the reclassification happened and they were put on paper as Negroid, not native anymore. And then another reclassification happened and freed men were then called natives. Another reclassification happened and they were turned back to coloreds, mulattoes, or just freed men. more slave trades were going on that involved the 5 rivers of India. There was an Indian slave trade, African slave trade, to where natives were taken to Africa. Natives were taken, like conflicting tribal natives were taken from this landmass to another and then brought back and called a totally different thing. And then the kids were sold and put into schools with whom? Latinos, Mexicanos, tribes from up north, in residential schools as well. All of us got mixed in, and the truth only came out through these ancestral tests, which were then bought up by BlackRock and all those bastards so that we couldn't find the truth. But some of us have DNA that stretches back 12.5 thousand years, and for me, that stems from a man named Israel Nero Jackson. What's up? I love when people doubt me because
Black Americans are the original Americans. We are not descendants of enslaved people. We are the original people to this land. We are indigenous. We are the aboriginals. So it's time to remember who you are. The truth is coming back through genetic studies and memory. The more you dig into our true history, you discover that it has not only been whitewashed, but much of our history has been erased, not by time, but through paper, what historians call paper genocide. The 1887 Dawes Act was used to take our land, and it created colorism. The Dawes roll determined who was Indian enough, and if your skin was dark, you were reclassified as Negro, Black, colored. So the truth is coming back through genetic studies and through memory. So it is time to wake up.
You know, that title seems as a small word or as a small thing, but that title, Native Blacks are the real Native American, that title is giving white people a sleepless night. It's making them angry. It's making them feel bad. It's making them like really, that Black Americans are the original, are the real Native Americans. Because white people don't like history. And when we talk about history, I'm talking about digging deep into history, going deep, going further into history. That's to know something that's happening. I believe we all know that history has a way of exposing itself. History has a way of showing up in every situation. You know what? Shahid Bolson said one thing. He said that white America or white people tend to forget about history and then they repeat history. Do you get me clear? Shahid Bolson is a professor. He said that white people don't know the history. And clearly, they tend to forget about their history so that they can repeat history. History ends up repeating itself. So history has a way of showing up in every single situation, in every single way. History has a way of showing up, exposing the lies, bringing what people don't know about, trying to bring what people are trying to erase by all means. And white Americans have always doing their best to erase that Black Americans are the real, they are the original Native Americans. And for sure, Black people have a long history, have a very long history about Africa. I mean, about America. We talk about American culture, we're talking about Black culture. The history is a Black history. Food is a Black food. Like everything that connects, that makes American to be known, it connects with the Black history. Black Americans are the real Native Americans. And this should sink into everybody's mind that Black people are the real Native American. And nobody should take this from Black Americans. People come out here and they make us feel like don't belong somewhere. No, Black people have a long history about America. Tell in the comments, how do you think about the video? And God bless you, peace be with you, and I love you. Let's keep on supporting here. Subscribe, tell me in the comments where have I done wrong to do better than that you can stick this space. Peace out and love you.